Expert Benjamin here first. The term small talk is one of the biggest misnomers in the business world. We treat it like the appetizer we can skip, a bit of casual chat before the real conversation starts.
It's the essential groundwork for connection, trust, and growth.
What makes it so daunting is the absence of a script. You can't prepare your lines.
You have to be present in the moment and adapt.
Many of us see these interactions as a high-stakes test, a verbal tennis match where you desperately lob a comment over the net
and pray the other person can return it without it crashing and burning.
But I think there's a much better way to view it. Think of it less like a competitive match and more like a game of hacky-sack.
You know, that little beanbag where the goal isn't to beat anyone, but for everyone to work together to keep it in the air?
If you see your role as a collaborator, trying to keep the conversation flowing, rather than an opponent,
The pressure dissolves. The experience becomes enjoyable instead of terrifying.
the first step in transforming your approach is to set the right goals.
The renowned matchmaker and author Rachel Greenwald has a brilliant piece of advice. Your goal is to be interested, not interesting. So many of us walk into a networking event or a client meeting thinking we have to be the most fascinating, witty, and engaging person in the room.
But that's not your job. Your job is simply to be present and genuinely interested in the person you're talking to.
This mindset shift does something magical. It dramatically reduces the anxiety we feel.
We often feel like we're under a spotlight, being judged for every word.
And let's be honest, you are being judged. But you can dim that spotlight by turning your attention outwards, onto the other person.
One of the most common traps in spontaneous business communication is the perceived need for speed. We've somehow equated a fast response with competence, but the true measure of competence isn't speed. It's the quality and appropriateness of your response.
And a quality response often requires a moment of thought.
We have all blurted something out that we immediately regretted. A comment that was unclear, ill-timed, or just plain wrong.
A simple pause can be your greatest ally against this.
So, how can you train yourself to slow down? Paraphrasing is a secret weapon.
The act of paraphrasing forces you to slow down and listen with incredible intensity.
It's not the parroting a child does. It's about distilling the essence of their message. When you paraphrase correctly, you accomplish several critical things. First, you validate the other person. You are non-verbally saying, "I heard you. I was paying attention."
This doesn't mean you agree. It simply confirms you've received the message.
Second, it ensures accuracy. The other person can clarify, saying, "No, what I really meant was this." Most of us listen just enough to get the gist of what's being said. Then our brains immediately jump to judging, rehearsing our paraphrasing short-circuits this. You have to listen to truly understand the core of their point.
This mental process slows you down and buys you the time to formulate a thoughtful, intelligent response.
But what if you've listened, you've paused, and you still feel like you have nothing smart to add? It happens to everyone.
But there's always something you can say. You can always ask a question. My mother-in-law was a master of conversation. Her superpower was one simple phrase. After someone finished speaking, she would pause, lean in slightly, and say, "Tell me more." Tell me more.
Could you expand on that?
If you find yourself in a business meeting and you're at a loss for words, you can almost always say, "Tell me more about that," or "Could you expand on that last point?"
By giving the other person the floor, you not only make them feel valued, but you also give yourself precious time to process, connect on your contribution to the discussion.
Okay, but what if you say something and it's just wrong? You make a mistake, you misspeak, you say something dumb.
Mistakes are a natural part of communication. We all make them. Spontaneous conversation is about connection, not perfection.
Think about film directors. They'll ask an actor for multiple takes of the same scene.
Take 2, take 3. One take might be angry, another might be curious.
None of them are necessarily wrong. They're just different versions.
Okay. Let me rephrase that. I want you to reframe your communication mistakes as mistakes. What you said wasn't a failure.
Now, let's talk about the opposite problem. What if you have too much to say?
Many of us, when we feel nervous or unprepared, start to ramble. We're essentially discovering our own thoughts out loud.
And it becomes a defensive mechanism. We think if we just throw enough information out there, something will eventually stick, and people will think we're smart.
But in business, concision is king.
My mother has a fantastic saying, "Tell me the time, don't build me the clock."
In meetings, presentations, and emails, many of us are clock builders. We need to constantly remind ourselves to just tell the time.
One of the most effective ways to be both clear and concise is to use a structure.
One of my favorite communication structures is a framework of 3 simple questions. What? So what? Now what?
The what is your core idea, your update, your proposal.
The so what is why it matters to your audience. This is the most crucial step that people often forget. Why should they care?
And the now what is the call to action. What are the next steps? What do you need from them?
This framework is a magic wand for business communication.
Pitching an idea to your boss?
What?
Here's my idea.
So what?
Here's how it will save us money. Now what? Can I get your approval to run a small pilot test?
But how do you even get the conversation started? We often default to the same tired, generic questions. How are you? What do you do? These are conversation starters that often lead to dead ends. Fine, I'm in sales. Now what? It's even more awkward than before.
I'm a huge advocate for starting conversations with questions, but they should be questions that connect to the shared context or environment.
It's amazing. I think there are more people here wearing blue shirts than any other color.
I wonder what that says about our industry.
All I did was observe something simple in our shared environment. Initiating with something that sparks curiosity is far more.
Finally, perhaps even more challenging than starting a conversation is ending one gracefully.
Many of us resort to biological excuses.
Well, I'm going to get a drink. I need to find the restroom.
This can feel abrupt and dismissive.
Rachel Greenwald, whom I mentioned earlier, taught me a brilliant technique she calls the white flag approach. In auto racing, the white...
You can do the same in conversation. As you feel the conversation winding down, you signal the end.
I have to connect with some colleagues in just a moment. But before I go, what's the most surprising thing you've learned today?
Before I go, tell me a little more of the I don't want everyone at his shoe guy.
Leia, tell me a little more about that project you're starting in Q3.
This allows you to continue the conversation for another minute and then end it together on a high note.
It was great speaking with you. I need to catch my friend Sarah before she leaves, but I really want to hear one last thing about that trip to Hawaii you mentioned.
It's a clean, respectful, and collaborative way to conclude an interaction.
Leaving the other person feeling valued, not abandoned.
Mastering these techniques requires practice.
But by shifting your mindset from performance to connection. And by arming yourself with these simple structures, you can transform difficult business conversations a point from a source of anxiety into an opportunity for growth.